Geregu Power PLC, the largest publicly listed electricity company in Nigeria, has just released its full year 2023 financial results to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The board approved the audited financial statements on Monday, the 29th of January of this year. The company posted revenue growth of 74% to 83 billion naira, while operating profit grew 110% to 31 billion naira. Profit before tax grew 61% to 24.3 billion naira.
Arise business anchor Boason Omofaye joins us for more on these stories. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Good afternoon, Hawa and Tebitokwe. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Belgian farmers' continuous protest over rising cost, European Union environmental policies and cheap food imports. What do you think should be done better?
I don't know what else the farmers want, but again, it's very, very difficult. Again, food goes at the heart of everything. If you look at France's fourth quarter GDP numbers, which came in early today or a little bit overnight into this morning, the number didn't really look good. France just managed to escape a recession, in the manner of speaking, for the last quarter of last year. That's no good news for one of the biggest economies in Europe and one of the top 7 and top 10 in the world, globally speaking. So what the farmers are asking for is just it's a cocktail of requests. They want to pay less tax on diesel, which is used for those machinery, for heavy equipment and things like that. They want to get fair value for what they produce as well. They want a couple of things. So the government has thrown a whole lot on the table, but of course we're expecting to hear more today from the government in Paris as to what more will be done. The farmers say they're moving to Paris because they believe that where they've been doing camping for protest for 2 weeks is not enough. It's not hitting hard on the government, so they want to move it to the political and economic capital of France. If they do that, that will change a whole lot of optics as far as this is concerned. But of course we know that when farmers go on strike or go on protest in Europe, is all about all and around subsidy, their welfare, what they do. And I think we have a whole lot of lessons to see how to treat farmers with dignity, to see that, look, this is one of the 3 basic of human needs, food, clothing, and shelter. So if you tick off, and food always comes first, for clothing and shelter, by the way. So this is very important, but let's watch and see how it will be resolved. I'm sure one way or the other, Macron's administration will be able to find a solution to it.
Yeah, those farmers mean business.
Yes,
let's move on to South Africa, where we just got information that their corruption perception index has dropped to its lowest in 12 years, below the global average.
Yeah,
good
that's
news.
the ranking.
Yeah.
Well, that's as far as the
ranking. Yeah, is this good news?
Yes, well, a bit of a good news in a manner of speaking, if you consider the fact that President Ramaphosa, even though himself has been in the eye of the storm of corruption, as it were, if you remember the
money in the couch,
money in the couch, and the couch,
and the kidnapping of the kidnappers,
and the kidnapping of the kidnappers, and what have you, and the ongoing political whatever. I think they're trying to work their way out of the whole issue. They got into the financial action, FATF, the Financial Action Task Force issue, where they'll be able to work their way back into the FATF good books over the next 2 to 3 years. To all intents and purposes, the Ramaphosa's administration wants to ensure that they get the April 2024 election in the kitty for the ANC ruling party. The opposition is making a whole show about corruption and other issues in South Africa. ESCOM is considered the hotbed of corruption in South Africa as far as contracts and whatever things are there. The problem with the utility in terms of electricity and the whole things that went down for the whole last year. They got almost 1 CEO every day. They keep changing them because in and out on almost a daily basis. There are still a lot of issues to be resolved. You have the South African Airways, a bit of issues around there. You have Transnet Logistics, which is the port and the rail network operator, which is the big one. There are a whole lot of issues around that as well. So it's not sitting really pretty for President Ramaphosa's administration, but are they doing something about it? Yes, he's trying to do some things about it. And he needs this election as much as he needs that second time. He needs to retain the position. So I'm sure he's dealing with a few of these issues. Calm down the voters, calm down the international community and what have you, and try to have some good showing on the front door before the election happens in April.
So let's bring it back home. Geregu Power PLC, the largest publicly listed electricity company in Nigeria, has just released its full year 2023 financial results. What's your assessment of this report?
Well, I haven't read the full details, but what is already on the streets on the front page is good enough. You're talking about revenue upside of roughly 74% on a year-on-year basis. That's a whole lot of money, more than almost 100 billion, 83 billion. Operating profit is about 110% year-on-year basis over the 2022 period. That's a whole lot of money on the table, if you ask me. So there's a whole lot of growth on some of these metrics. Then if you get to the bottom line, which is the dividend, which is the cash dividend, gross dividend of 20 billion naira will be shared. I'm sure if you're holding the shares of Geregu Power right now, you'll be asking yourself how much of that will come to me, whatever the exchange rate is. So Geregu is doing really well, and that tells you the foresight in terms of investing in the power sector. And what does this mean? We could get a whole lot more power companies listed on the Nigerian exchange. We could do a whole lot more. Geregu has shown that the government should get out. And as the government is looking to get out of the discos and maybe out of the gencos, you just bring those companies straight to the market and provide a whole lot more. Now, this energy company is at the heart of Nigeria's economy. Power is at the heart of everything, from economy to social life to whatever. So we can't do without power. But it has been proven that the market will give the best value, and you have investors who will come in. If you want to ask international investors to come in, they will first of all look at Geregu Power on the Nigerian exchange because they believe in the parameters and the discipline that the market and the disclosure and transparency that is provided. The board of directors approved the financials in less than 24 or 48 hours. It was passed to the stock exchange. The NGX approved it. Right now it's on the website of the exchange. And that tells you that the transparency, the disclosure that you want to see there. If you ask all the power companies, where are your financials? You're not likely going to get it within 24 hours. Someone put it in your hands in 48 hours. But the market provides that platform in which you can see numbers and you can tell where your money is going and where your money is coming from. And I think we should just see more. I want to see more companies come to the market, not only from the upstream side of power generation in Nigeria, but also from the midstream and the downstream as well. The more, the merrier on the market. But of course, despite how tough 2023 was, the 20 billion naira cash dividend is a whole lot of pile on the table, even if you put it in the studios.
It's a great litmus test.
Everybody put it in the studios. You still have room for more.
We do. And speaking of money, the CBN, $500 million being released. Yes. It sounds like a good idea. Is this really going to help us, or how much of help is it going to be?
Well, it's a fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different from
fast food.
You just
I
stop by. It's a drive-in. Just pick it up and you snack on
quick,
it while
easy win.
Yeah, quick as you go. Does it really fill your meal needs? Well, for the next mileage, as you can get. But this we would need to do a whole lot more structurally speaking. $500 million is a drop in the ocean for 200 million people, an economy that we need to kickstart. The projections coming from the world, from the IMF, the latest we're getting now is about 3.0% GDP for this year for Nigeria. That's a few notches from where we were, like 3.2% earlier. South Africa, we're doing 1.0%. We're going to be bigger than South Africa. Let's hope all that work out. But then, we have a whole lot of issues to deal with. So right now we're looking at about $2.5 billion clear so far. We still have an arrears of about $5 billion. You spoke about the exchange rate earlier, 1,004, 1,005. The adjustment to the methodology that the FMDQ did over the last yesterday or so, which sank the naira a little bit lower from where it was all part of the arrangement to try and provide some liquidity for the FX. You need the demand is strong. That demand is going to the parallel market. I don't want to use the black market. It's going to the parallel market. Supply is not so strong from the official sources, including export proceeds and diaspora remittances. So not strong enough. But you need to balance demand and supply on the official side very well, so that the tendency to patronize the parallel market will be reduced. Yes. But as we all know, water always finds its level. Where the demand and supply matches each other, then folks will tend to migrate there. But again, we have a serious problem But I think I would love to have a clarity from the government as far as the oil proceeds sales from NNPC, whether it goes directly to the central bank or not. We need to see a bit more of that. We need a whole lot more accretion into our foreign accounts of which the CBN hold on behalf of Nigeria for crude oil proceeds. We want to see a whole lot more exports, but we can't get all of that done if we don't ramp up on key infrastructure issues that need to be done to get us to be more productive. We have trillions and trillions of naira in money supply outside, money just chasing virtually nothing. So folks are just dollarizing their monthly FAC allocations and putting it in dollar accounts. Government can't touch that money, even though some of our government, most government money, whatever games being played there at the state government and local government levels. All of this is all muddy out there. Is there any confidence for me or comfort? I'm waiting for February 26, February 27 Central Bank Monetary Policy meeting. The first under Cardoso. How they will decide will be very, very crucial. That day, keep it on your calendar, February 27. It's going to be a Tuesday. We're going to descend on that because it's going to tell a lot of signaling as to where Nigeria is going with this issue of foreign exchange. We want to hear in pure black and white, what are we doing, where are we heading, who is doing what, and how it's been done, the processes involved in FX. Are there new measures to also stabilize the naira? Because it's also important. It's not enough to chase dollars. You need to stabilize your own local currency unit as well. You need to prevent its meltdown. It's like burning candle at both ends. You need to take out the light at one end of the candle, so you just turn it only one way. And you just get light at this end. We're burning the candle on both sides. The dollar is burning up on this side. We're burning the naira on this side. So you have naira scarcity. The naira is losing far more value, whereas the dollar is also very scarce. You can't run into that problem at the same time. You don't have dollars sufficiency or liquidity, and you have so much naira doing absolutely nothing on the street. You've got to put one to use very quickly. So we need to prevent the naira from losing its value while we also find ways to bring in more dollars into the room. We need to do both at the same time, constructively, in a way that will help us try to let the door close on us on both ends. Right now, the windows are closing at both ends on us, and that is not looking, is not looking good. Again, the downside of all that is inflation and prices of goods and services. So people are anger is beginning to build up. A lot of things are happening. Kidnapping at places you've never heard of before are beginning to happen because people are on edge as we speak right now. So we need to decelerate. We need to move back from the barricades, as it were, and as quickly as we can resolve this, the better for everyone.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes, yeah.
February will soon be here. So
Yeah, February 26th.
We'll stay tuned.
We'll be here live.
Thank you so much.
All right, Arise with Boason, Boason Omofaye. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.